I'm Paul Berriff. I'm a British television documentary filmmaker.
Hi, Boston Center Team U. We have a problem here. We have a hijacked aircraft headed towards New York. So we need someone to scramble some F-16s or something up there. This is not an exercise manifest.
It's something that obviously I will never ever forget. And I was in the wrong place at the right time. Somebody came into the office about 9:15 American time and said there's a plane got into the World Trade Center.
The World Trade Center, tower number 1 is on fire. The whole outside of the building, there was just a huge explosion. Engine 1 out, World Trade Center, 1060. Send every available ambulance, everything you got to the World Trade Center now.
Working in news, I decided to take my 2 crew down with me. We were 3 miles away in the Upper East Side and decided to drive down to see what was going on.
You have a second plane into the other tower, the tower of the Trade Center.
Military transmitted that it looked like it was intentional. There's 4 more units going into the box. It could be a terrorist attack.
And as we rounded a corner, we suddenly saw both towers on fire. So we knew then it wasn't a small plane. It was something. It wasn't an accident, but because both the towers were on fire. And as we got nearer, we could see black specks falling. I mean, there's lots of debris falling from it, and we suddenly realised that the black specks were human beings, people jumping. So we knew then it must be hellish inside. And as we got down into Lower Manhattan, we started to see all the crowds were running away. And they were running up the main dual carriageway. And we got to a point where we couldn't drive anymore. So we abandoned the Jeep and made our way on foot to the bottom of the South Tower. And Steve Gregory, who was the Deputy Fire Commissioner there, he was sending people into the North Tower or the South Tower, which was literally just across the road from where we were. We was actually underneath the South Tower, literally. So I started filming him and all his officers, and they were all giving instructions to each other. And suddenly there was this explosion, massive explosion, and I panned off Steve and looked up, and there through my viewfinder I could see the top of the South Tower peeling off, like it was like a big umbrella of debris just right above us coming down. I could hear all the firemen shouting, "Run, run, 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 run." And I stood there for 3 seconds or so as all this tsunami of debris started coming down towards us. You know, it was coming towards us fast, roaring like a Boeing 747 on top of you. And we started to run down the street. In front of me, the firefighters were throwing off all their gear as they were running down the street. But my camera was turned. It could see what was happening, but I couldn't. And then suddenly there was this big woof of air, and I remember the camera leaving my hand in slow motion, and everything just went black.
Please, to Manhattan, urgent. One of the buildings is partially collapsed, and the whole entire area tank. Tower 2. The South Tower, major. Tower 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse surrounding the entire area. There's people all over the place.
All units stand by, please. Please stand by.
Working out my timeline of events, I was lying unconscious for about 28 minutes, 30 minutes in the debris. And I was lying in the debris when the North Tower came down on top of me as well.
The other tower just collapsed. Major collapse. The World Trade Center's collapsed. Building 2 has collapsed. Okay. Urgent. Everybody get out. We had to collapse to the second tower. Everybody's running from there. This is here it comes. Get in. Hold on. Okay, right now we're all alone. The second building came down. I can't see, so we have no contact with anybody at this time, okay? There's the North Pedestrian Bridge. I think it collapsed when that partial building just collapsed. I was on the street. I don't have much hair. Please help me! This is Battalion 4 Alpha. I have dozens and dozens of firemen. We're at the bulkhead on the Hudson River side of the World Trade Center. We have medical emergencies. We have EMS on the team treating possible heart attacks. We're in the process of getting some kind of a roll call.
All I remember then was crawling through this black hell. When I came conscious, I was crawling. My knees were on fire. My trousers were burning because everything around me was burning, really red hot. I couldn't see a foot in front of me. It was just nothing. I could hardly breathe. My mouth was full of gunge, my nose, my eyes, my ears, and I was poking this stuff out of my mouth, trying to breathe, stuff falling around me, crashing, banging. And I started to crawl. I don't know where I was crawling, still trying to breathe, pulling all this stuff out of my mouth. It was like powdered cement dust, and oh, it was awful. My eyes were stinging, and I was gasping for breath. And I thought, this is it. Whatever's happened, this is it. You know, I'm going to suffocate. And I felt a fireman. I could feel his tunic and everything. And I remember saying, "Can I use your air bottle? Can I use your air bottle?" And he didn't reply, so unfortunately he must have been killed. Well, then suddenly the visibility started to lift a bit. I could see 10, 20, 30 meters. And I looked up, and I was sort of in the epicenter of it all. To the right of me, a building where this one on here was on fire by now, well alight from ground floor to the top. And all the fire trucks, police cars and ambulances that were underneath the tower in front of me, they were all on fire. And I could just see now about 100 meters, and in the road were bits of the tower embedded in the road. But again, I didn't realize that the towers had actually both collapsed. Again, I was very confused. I didn't know what was happening, and I must have been in deep shock as well. But I think I was probably the first live person right in the epicenter of all this, because as you can imagine, when the second tower came down, everybody fled, and I must have just come round after that collapse. So there I was, right in the middle of both where the twin towers were, with all this. It was apocalyptic, really, and everything was of fire, smoke, flames, smells. And I still, if I get that whiff now, it still takes me back there. At the time, there must have been about 20 some fire officers in the street with us, if not more. And about 18 or so of them got killed in that fall. I mean, to be actually right in that epicenter was doing the job that I do, was unbelievable.
And when you went back to make that film with the fire department, emotions were still raw. They are still raw to this day.
I have never met a group of people that have been so affected by anything as those firefighters were. I mean, these are hardened New York firefighters, the toughest in the world. They've seen everything, done everything, and I've never seen anybody affected like they were, because all of them knew somebody that had died in it. And what was nice for me going back, because I was with them when it happened, I think they took me on board as one of their brothers, and opened up a lot to me, and I managed to capture their frustrations and their sadness and all that was going on for the months after the towers had collapsed, and that was quite emotive as well. And but being right in there was a privilege, and to be alongside these great guys.